Good morning. Oh, getting through some of the misunderstandings that people have can be challenging. At least it feels that way for me. As once again, I wrestle with those ideas that people are trying to put forth in the Republic as far as imposing things and beliefs on others, and wondering, why can't you get it? Anyway, let's get into today's talk. The title that I wrote when I came out of the meditation room is this: 2012, desire for uniformity is fear of freedom. And the little blurb I wrote is: many of my brothers and sisters seem to feel the need to impose some sort of oath to a creed in order to be recognized as a viable member of society. Those unwilling to take such oaths are seen as subversives. To me, this indicates a deep fear of freedom, an unwillingness to trust the process of spiritual growth and awakening. I speak specifically to those in the Republic that want to impose a citizenship oath on everyone living in the nation. This is insane and unconstitutional. Yesterday, I had a very busy day, and in the afternoon when I finally got to my emails, I saw a post on the Facebook page for the Republic that's run by Rockets Red Glare out of Minnesota. Wonderful lady. And the post was from Derek Maddox, who was a senator from South Carolina in the Republic. And he wrote, they just posted the Special Naturalization Act on republiccongress.org. I'm afraid I'm going to have to vote no on this act because it's going to require every citizen to give the following oath. I hereby solemnly declare on oath or affirmation, it has those in brackets, I am a living, again brackets, man, woman, of good moral character, endowed with God-given unalienable or unalienable, depending on which way you want to pronounce it, rights, committed to living by the rule of law, the sacred trust of self-governance, and to the essential and moral responsibility of protecting the rights, life, liberty, and property of others as strongly as I defend my own. My sole and exclusive political jurisdiction, law venue, and protection rest on the common law of God and the law form of the Republic for the United States of America, which is the Holy Bible, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States of America, and the Bill of Rights. And I will support and defend the same against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I absolutely and entirely renounce all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereign of whom or which I have been a subject or citizen. And I absolutely and entirely renounce any law form that is antithetical to the law form of the Republic for the United States of America, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. I freely make this declaration, so help me God. I don't understand what these people that are pushing this agenda forth are thinking. I mean, don't they read the Constitution? don't they read the Declaration of Independence, that they've cited these things? Amendment 1 of the Bill of Rights reads like this: Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. First Amendment, foundational Bill of Rights. Foundational. What part of that don't they understand? When you throw the words, the Holy Bible is the law form of the Republic, that is violating the very First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And in the Declaration of Independence, which they also cited in this oath, or this Naturalization Act, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable or unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. The Constitution bestows no rights upon anyone. Nobody has constitutional rights. Nobody. I want to make that really clear to you. Nobody has constitutional rights. From our documentation that our forefathers gave to us, who were forward-thinking men in their generation at that time in the history of human evolution, of the evolution of human consciousness, if you will, they had the foresight to recognize that the rights were granted by creation itself, or by nature's God, as many of them wrote. Nature's God precedes religion, and it will come after all religions have fallen. Nature's rights and nature's God preceded all and any holy books that have been passed down from generation to generation, including sacred writings or inspired writings of our own generation. It preceded all of that, and it is foundational. All men and women, all beings, are equal. None superior. The idea of superiority is an ego concept of my way is more important than yours. My thoughts are true thoughts, and yours therefore are false. And it's a dichotomy of living in dualism, of one idea conflicting, always conflicting, never dancing, always conflicting with other ideas, and the attempt of the short-sighted individual to impose his or her idea and viewpoint and belief system on others. This is and always has been the danger in human governance and governments, that you have people that fear freedom, and they think if we allow people to be free, to express their own viewpoints and ideas, if we allow the very guarantees that are declared in the First Amendment, which doesn't, again, this does not give us our rights. It actually limits us, or more precisely, it limits the governments that we choose to exercise our will, and for our protection, for our mutual protection. They derive their power from us, the governed. That's the principle. But when we are wanting to get Muslims to behave themselves, for example. Or Muslims are trying to get Christians to behave themselves, for example. Both religions have their share of extremists and narrow-minded people, as all other religions do as well. And the desire is to show that our God, our belief system, is the superior one. Folks, please, please wake up and recognize the gift we have been given, the gift of wisdom, in the documents known as the founding documents of the Republic of and for the United States of America. And even in the de facto color of law corporate government that has arisen, each person that holds office in the United States, each person, whether it's the local policeman, the soldier or sailor or airman, the attorney, even in the bar association, the judges, the politicians that hold political office, whether it's mayor or president of the United States, every one of them takes an oath of office that limits them in the exercise of their office and of their power. That is unalienable. That is unalienable. We cannot be separated from that. That is our natural right, and it doesn't matter whether we live in the United States, or we live in Europe, or we live in Africa, or Asia, or any one of the Americas, or Antarctica, yeah, or Australia, or New Zealand, or any of the islands and any of the oceans of our world. It doesn't matter what tribe, what kindred. We are all endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The United States is a visionary nation at its founding, and even the corrupted government that has developed as a corporation and run by international bankers, which is an atrocity, and it's a beast, it's a monster. Even that requires people to take the oath not to protect the president or the corporation or the government, but to protect the rights of the people. And when they violate those rights, they are committing treason. Now, I don't know what oaths of office are required, for example, in other nations of the world, in Europe and stuff like that. I should probably study that, and if anybody wants to provide information, I have a lot on my plate right now, but that's something that I would like to know. I mean, what oaths of office, for example, in Great Britain are required, or the United Kingdom? What oaths of office are required in Germany, or if there are any in Japan or China, if there are any in any of the African nations? Are there oaths of office? Are there things that the leaders are sworn to in some of these other nations of the world? I'd like to know that. But whether there are or not, the foundation provided to the world by the founders of the American experiment in not just democracy, but republic form of government that protects the rights of one individual to be his or her own self, own person, that protects those rights. I'd like to know. I'd like to know. But this idea that some in this being restored republic have is they want to put forth, and Tim Turner has been guilty of this. I've heard him say with my own ears that we base our law on the Holy Bible. Well, I'm sorry. That's respecting a religion, and it's against the First Amendment of the Constitution. You cannot show respect to any religion. You say, well, it's two religions. It's Judaism and Christianity. Well, even the Muslims initially honored people of the book until the Crusades and the Christians messed it all up and started fighting against the Muslims, which warfare has been our history, folks. Let's face it, it's still going on. It's still evident in our modern world. We need to rise above this and recognize that each of us has a perspective based on where we were born, when we were born, what our parents believed or didn't believe, the type of education we were given, which is often nothing more than a brainwashing element, brainwashed in our churches and our schools and our synagogues and our mosques and our temples. It's okay to have all of these beliefs. It's okay, because there is something happening that's greater than this, which is the flame of freedom that's burning, that allows you and me and all of us to be free to express where we are and to tell our truth without being bound to somebody else's idea of what truth is for us. We determine, each of us, what the truth is for us. Now, the only limitations that are placed on that is when I choose to violate your right to be free. Then I have overstepped my freedom and I have gone out of bounds. But as long as I allow you to have your full expression and I have my full expression, then freedom can take place and we can grow up and mature and gain wisdom. But we don't do that by imposing a belief or a creed or a doctrine or a dogma on somebody else. It doesn't matter if it's good for you. You have no right to make it required for someone else. Neither do I. No one has that right. This is foundational, folks. This is foundational. And when people try to push the kind of stuff that there are still elements within our modern culture that believe in freedom, but they don't really, because they keep wanting to put these things in there, insert these things that make people believe some of their particular narrow-minded beliefs. You don't have to take an oath to be a human being. You just have to be born. That's all that's required. You just have to be born. And you have rights granted by your Creator in creation. That's just the way it is. So I trust, I hope, I pray, I long with all of my heart to get this message across to you. What freedom is. Freedom is the right to be you, the right to be me, without interference or imposition of any idea from somebody else. And I do believe this. I do believe that ultimately, as we grow up, we're going to recognize the interconnectedness of all things and of all people throughout all creation. Throughout the entire cosmos, we are interconnected in a single web of life. And when we honor that life in each other, we will not only be free, but we will establish peace and tranquility on earth. It is only when we think that we have the right to impose on others what we ourselves believe that we get in trouble. That is the nature of separation. It is the nature of the ego edging God out. And it is the nature, the false nature, the deprived nature of humanity, based on a failure to see that we are all one. That is the ultimate reality of mystics and of physicists. Science and spirituality becoming one. This is what's happening in our day and in our generation. And it's a beautiful thing. I leave you with these thoughts, and I thank you once again for listening. Namaste.